DRX proved why they are the group kings as they managed to get out yet again at another international event. But let's not kid ourselves, it wasn't pretty. Didn't start off pretty, but they managed to get there. Of course, I'm Golden Boy alongside with Brendan Sideshow here as we look to break everything down. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think right out of the gate, the most important thing to note here is that when this DRX team goes back to their fundamentals, they go back to the thing that we know and love about them, these are the results that they will end up getting.
Absolutely. The difference between the map pool is spectacular between Bind and Lotus and then the rest of the maps that they can play. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, with better coaching, this team would be informed to win a title.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, people are going to probably be listening to that and double-taking what you just said. Yeah. But genuinely, I feel like the caliber of talent that's on DRX currently, what was on display in all these moments when it just looked unbeatable. Imagine if they had that consistently with a much deeper map pool. And it's been a lack. I think it's just been the tossing and changing of all these players as well, trying to make the roles work by getting Zest and Foxy9 in, alternating all of that. It's made the team as a whole step back as well in terms of the overall level of prep they've been able to come into this event with.
I've got a question for you though. Now they've actually bought some time, they're going into playoffs. Are they going to be able, if they just stick with Zest from here on out, can they still make a deep run? Can they still, you know,
lock in?
I mean, it's way too tight of a turnaround because you've got to think as well. They've got one side of Bind that they need to work on as well. There's other maps which they're not even touching, like Lotus as their permaban. There are maps that are going to be in the playoffs with incredibly deep map pools. I mean, I don't want to discredit DRX. I think they've earned their spot here, right? You know, they've well-earned spot into the playoffs. But EG, Fnatic, Loud, three teams off the rip that I think have incredibly deep map pools, and it's necessary, I think, to go far in a playoff scenario.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure you can see the interview setting up behind us, but for now, though, we are going to say goodbye to FUT Esports, a team that is always exciting to watch, and as well, they did the job that they needed to do, which was secure that top 3 EMEA seed for champs.
Bro, they didn't even need to win a game here, and they would have got to champs because
they just
Na'Vi
had to stay alive.
Well, I mean, yeah, they could have turned up, gone 0-2, and still gone to champs.
Yeah,
but they didn't. They overperformed, but you know they were kind of gifted it by Na'Vi. Nevertheless, I think they'll be happy with what they accomplished today. They were all smiles even as they exited the stage because pressure's off them for the next few months. And they've never had a situation like that before. They've got a long time just to prep for those Champions games.
Really long time, yeah. I mean, they get that entire gap as well between, you know, last chance qualifier and whatnot. If they wanted to stick around in Tokyo for a bit as well, they can get some really good scrim practice because they're out of the tournament. People might want to play against them as well here.
Well, let's actually get some words in with the man of the hour, the guy coming in to fill in a spot. It was Zest standing by with Yintu for our Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. I am joined by Zest, and Jen's going to help with some of the translations. Now, Zest, we didn't really expect to see you play today. So when did you find out that you were going to be subbed in, and what was the reason behind this change?
제스 선수 오늘 경기를 뛰게 됐다는 거를 이제 언제쯤 얘기를 들었는지 그리고 왜 이번 라인업으로 경기를 치르려고 했는지에 대해서 얘기해 주시죠.
팀 내부적인 사항이라 어디까지 얘기해야 될지는 모르겠는데 조금 급하게 되기는 했습니다.
I can't really tell you much because I might leak stuff, but I can definitely tell you that it was a little bit of last-minute decision.
Is there a major difference between the game plan when Foxy9 is playing and when you are playing? And how difficult is it, do you think, for you to just come in and kind of adjust?
일단 폭시9 선수가 라인업에서 뛸 때랑 제스 선수가 들어와서 뛸 때랑 뭔가 전략적이나 플레이 스타일에 있어서 많이 좀 다른 점이 있는지 그리고 뭔가 제스 선수가 들어왔을 때는 어떤 점을 중점적으로 운영하게 되는지 궁금합니다.
아무래도 전략이 막 다른 거는 없긴 한데 제가 들어옴으로 이제 플레이 스타일이 달라지기 때문에 그리고 또 제가 주도적으로 하는 것도 많아서 아마 보시는 분들이 뭐 전략이 다르다고 느낄 수 있을 것 같아요.
적응하는데 힘들지는 않나요? 이렇게 갑자기 들어오게 되면?
힘들긴 한데 빡세게 하면 또 가능합니다.
It's tough adjusting, of course, but it's not impossible. So yeah, and I just feel like I can be more proactive and like I can make the calls when Stacks is down. So people might feel like we're using different strategies, and yes, our play style does change when Foxy9 plays and when I play.
Well, you guys, you always get out of group stage, you know, it's not new for you, but it did look a little bit more challenging. Did you feel that way, and if so, why?
항상 그룹 스테이지는 통과한 DRX인데 이번에도 통과했지만 좀 이번에는 살짝 힘든 감이 없지 않나 싶었어요. 실제로도 그렇게 느꼈는지 또 왜 그렇다고 생각하는지 알려주시죠.
이번에는 사실 저희도 좀 힘들 거라 예상하긴 했었어가지고 저희끼리 이제 뭐 긴장하지 말자고 농담식으로 이제 뭐 지면은 한국 일찍 가지 뭐 이런 식으로 얘기하기도 했었고요. 근데 또 저희의 목표는 그룹 스테이지가 아니라 항상 우승이기 때문에 또 열심히 하겠습니다.
Well, we kind of saw that coming. We thought that getting past the group stage was not going to be easy. And we even joked around ourselves saying, oh yeah, if you lose, we're going home early. So yeah, we got nothing to lose. But at the end of the day, our ultimate goal is a trophy. And yeah, I'm just so glad that we're keeping our chances alive for that champion title.
You're not going home just yet, Zest. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Jen, for translating. There is one more game left of the group stage, the final showdown between T1 and EDG. But before that, here are the Prime Gaming post-match highlights.
It's uncomfortable situation for DRX to be in, and for FUT, well, the grass is just going to continue to get greener on their side of the field as they have already punched their ticket to champions. They are just playing with that house money. It's DRX, it's FUT. This is going to be good.
They've gotten into half, now the reset, and now the fight. Kiwi on the snap, Kiwi on the shots. And they asked for it. Where was it coming? It's coming courtesy of Kiwi 1. Killer instinct activated.
20 in the TP.
Yeah, that's not what the intent was. RB with 2. Spam expecting to pre-fire. Buzz finds the timing on Mr. Fallen. It's all Maj by himself. Maj is healthy. FUT walk away with the win, 13-9. Only taking one with him. Mako on the swing. Buzz finding value with it.
Oh gosh.
Zest is still here. He's playing far off. All he has is a classic though, and the classic works! Buzz with 3, and we're tied at 5.
He's going for the knife.
We got a knife? What kind of skin
The
is there on the
stun
knife?
too to try to catch him.
What's the skin on the knife? Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Saxy's only one far off though. Buzz has already gotten 2. Make that 3.
We're going to map 3. Wouldn't have it any other way for DRX.
He doesn't spot him at all! RB with 2, robbed of the 3rd, courtesy of Mako. Finally landing it, switching weapons and getting them all. And the defenses of DRX are crumbling. You see him trying to funnel out of the site, trying to flood their way through! But Zest with 2 and Mako does it as well. DRX obliterate FUT and punch their ticket to playoffs.
Welcome back, everybody. There is one spot left in that playoffs, and it's going to come down to EDG or T1. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm joined by Mimi and Kakuka. I didn't think that it was going to come down to these teams, Kakuka, but here we are.
I think it's very exciting because I think that in every single event, we have one or two teams giving us that big story that everybody has eyes on, and I think it could be either of these two teams.
Yeah, both of them have already made a run that has surprised people. Both of them have already broken their expectations, and the thing is that either way, if either of these teams make it into the playoffs, it will be
We have a story. We have a headline.
There's too many stories, I feel like. But this is a rematch. We have seen this matchup already in this tournament. And the last time we saw it, Mimi, it went to the way of T1, but marginally went to the way of T1.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest games already in the groups between these two. It was a 2-1 victory for T1, but they just only barely got it over the line. It was a 14-12 win on Pearl versus EDG. And it looked like for EDG, it was going to be the same story as always, where they get knocked down to lower bracket in heartbreaking way, and it all falls apart. But they've really been able to recover despite losing this first time.
And we've been talking about T1 and the improvement that they've had as a team and as a squad, but as you're saying, it was not a comfortable win. And of course, coming into this rematch, the story for this two has changed a bit. T1 are coming from a loss. EDG is coming from beating Navi. Of course, you know, Navi has not been what we expected this tournament and what many people thought they were going to be at the beginning of this year, but they just beat, for the first win, a team that has won a Masters event.
Yeah, it's crazy that they were able to pull it off. And that first matchup as well that they played, it really, I think, showed the depth that these teams have, that they can play that slower style on their attacking sides, really bring out the strategy that people wouldn't have expected looking at these teams' names and their past success, but also can still dive into that chaos and show the prowess of their individuals.
I'm glad you mentioned that because the momentum is so important. We saw what it can do for teams. China's first win for EDG, but in this rematch, I do want to bring out a stat because Kakuka, traditionally at international tournaments, the team that loses the first matchup have a 67% chance of winning the second one. So it's looking good for EDG.
You love the hope here.
I love it. I love it.
Definitely, but it's the story. Just imagine if we had EDG not only making it to playoffs, but actually having a miraculous run throughout the entire tournament. Even if just for making playoffs, I would say most people would say it is enough.
Yeah, and look at the emotion on their face. That was first off of their loss against T1, where it was again that heartbreak that they have felt so many times, making it to 2 international events before this one and always pushing it so close. But then they come out, they play incredible versus Navi, and it invigorates them. And for Kung Kung, in the post-match interview, he said that for his team and for Chinese Valorant as a whole, that this is just a start. It's just a beginning for them.
Yeah, it was a very cold quote from Kung Kung there. You know, he's not satisfied with just one win. He wants it all. We've spoken to him a few times, and he's just like, I don't even want to be China's #1. I want to be the world's #1.
He has such a big personality, and I'm so happy that he's able to translate that into the server. He's an operator demon, and we love to see it.
Yeah, and also, we saw a lot of the heroic moments, Mimi, that EDG were pulling out against Navi, the individual brilliance. And if they pull that out again today,
yeah, I mean, they could just win it. It was ridiculous, the stuff they were doing. It looked like in so many moments that Navi was going to be able to rally back, and at every chance, EDG had a player who stepped up. And more times than not, it was Kung Kung with the ridiculous plays on the operator or on the blades, but it really was a team effort. Everyone had their moment in this match.
I loved Smoggy, for example. He was, I think, had a major role in what happened yesterday, and maybe it's again that situation where teams underestimate their opponents or maybe think that, you know, they can ego peek into them and it's going to be fine because, you know, you have Seketsu, you have Shao. Those kind of things usually go your way. It didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah, and what's insane is that stat as well. 44 of their rounds, they had a multi-kill in. They had 9 clutches across that series, and it was a 2-0. It was all these crazy hero plays keeping them in it.
yeah, speaking of the teamwork, Kung Kung himself said Nobody and Haldong was the ones that also helped them mentally push it over the line. And speaking of Nobody, I had a catch-up with him earlier outside the arena. Hello, 你好, 你好, Nobody, 欢迎回来, welcome back. Now, yesterday was a really important game that you guys won. How much confidence does it give you going into today's game?
因为昨天你们获得了这个赛季的首胜嘛，非常厉害。想问一下，对于小组赛出现这件事，包括今天的这场比赛，你们有多大的信心呢？
其实我们是上一次是输给了 T1， 但是其实我们一直很有信心，然后赢了Navi之后，会使我们信心倍增，所以我觉得我们今天是必胜的。
Definitely yes. I think for today, for yesterday's matchup, maybe we made a little mistakes, but we figured it out. And after we win Navi, and it definitely gave us confidence for today's matchup. I think we're gonna win today.
Well, thank you very much. 谢谢，加油。Well, he is confident. I mean, you are going to be confident after beating Na'Vi, but the fact of the matter is, Mimi, T1, they beat them once already, so they have that for them behind them.
That is true, and T1, after beating EDG, went on to play NRG incredibly close in that upper bracket. People thought that this team might just roll over versus a stronger squad like NRG, but they were able to compete with them not just strategically, but also in the individual performance.
Yeah, but also I think that they need to reflect now that they're in this position. Of course, the mental is not the same, and also I feel like the pressure is way more on them, way more on T1, because they were expected to perform and not repeat that same situation where rounds are literally that close.
And they have a chance to do something special here. They have a second chance at it. Ever since Masters Reykjavik, the only Korean team to ever make it out of groups and make it to playoffs at an international event has been DRX. And for T1, this is their opportunity to be the first time in forever that Korea has a second team that can compete at the top level internationally.
And it would definitely be the highlight, because even though DRX just qualified, it's kind of something that everybody expected, but the fashion in which it happened, it didn't give them that boost. Everybody's going to be speaking and talking about T1 if they manage to make it today.
I mean, you mentioned the NRG matchup already. What did you see from that one? Did you feel like maybe they could have qualified down that route already?
I think they could have. I think it came down to kind of a lack of depth in the map pool later in. But in the first map on Lotus in particular, I was really impressed with how they were calling on their attacking side. During the halftime interview, Autumn was talking about how much emphasis he put with this team on prepping their attack against NRG's generally weaker defense, and they did it in being able to constantly exploit the fact that NRG was so passive after initially failing with these really aggressive plays, and their mid-round decision-making was great against a team that we're normally talking about being the best in the world at mid-rounding.
Do you feel like what we saw from T1 against NRG Bear is enough for them to beat the EDG we saw yesterday?
No, but I do think that as well as I was talking about the pressure, it's about the fact that you have to play several days in a row. You have to prove that you have the resilience, the making the mistakes and actually learning from them in a very short period of time. This is all the international events is about.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because learning from our mistakes. Kong, he gave T1 a run for their money last time, and this is what Ban had to say about how they plan to deal with him today. Ban, hi, come and join me. Hello. Today is a very, very important game for you guys. It's a rematch. Last time, I think Kong was doing very, very, very well against you guys, caused you a lot of problems. How do you plan to shut him down today?
I think we're going to use your utility very well today to shut him down, not let him get any chances in general, and I think that'll do the trick.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Ban. Best of luck. They are going to shut Kong down today. I think he even said it was going to be easy.
Good luck.
Whatever. Mimi, do you believe that?
I don't think it's ever going to be easy to shut down Kong. What he was doing yesterday was absolutely absurd. And in the first match between these two, he was diffing Saya in the opening kills. Kong has been so consistently insane for this team.
Yeah, exactly. And with the operator and going back to the ego picking and actually giving him the confidence, I feel like he's the kind of player that if you're going to duel him time and time again, he will only feel more comfortable doing so because he's going to be successful most of the times. Do you remember when we had Benkai here and he was saying, hey, we know if we're playing against DRX, we just dodge Mako wherever he is? I feel like with Kong is literally the same situation.
The thing about Kong though is that he can be so proactive, especially in the later parts of these games. He's the guy who is stepping up, who is making that play to push them over the line. And I mean, yesterday he was going crazy as well. He started off playing the Jet, and then he switches over to playing Gecko, and the guy is still opping, still finding the same value and finding insane clips. It's just absurd the performance he's having right now.
This is the thing though, Kong is getting better, Kakuka, somehow. Yes. They couldn't shut him down last time. I don't know, I'm a little bit worried.
He's getting the momentum, he's getting it forward. I feel like the duty here for Saya is actually finding his place in the round and actually the duties that he has to take. For example, if you feel like that first duel is not going to be easy, just go for a deeper run. Just go for a very much harder execute where you can shine in the mid round, where you don't have to be necessarily the first one going in, so those heroics can actually shine.
And I think this game will be defined by these two players. On their attacking sides, both squads really like starting these rounds slower, oftentimes picking up the attack side operator and putting a lot of emphasis in getting that opening pick with the off that they can mid-round round through. The thing is, that's how they want to start, but it will also oftentimes end in chaos where these two, again, have to step up and close rounds for their team.
Do you guys think we're going to see the same maps today from the rematch?
It could be. It's likely because of how close every single map was, it makes sense.
Well, let's find out because our coaches are ready for map select, and let's see if we're going to head to the same maps today.
Okay, let's get started. T1, you are higher seed because you come from the upper bracket of your group. Do you want Team A or Team B? Team A. Okay, so we'll start with T1, your first band. A band split, your band. Ascent, map number 1. Fracture, side on fracture. Attack, map number 2. Haven, side on Haven. Defense. Okay, we're gonna go to the next set of bands starting with T1. You have Bind, Lotus, and Pearl. A band Bind, you have Lotus and Pearl. Band Pearl, map number 3 will be Lotus, side on Lotus. Defense. Okay, we're gonna run through this really quick. First set of bands, we have T1 with Split, EDG with Ascent. Map number 1 is Fracture with EDG on Attack. Map number 2 is Haven with T1 on Defense. Next set of bands are Bind and Pearl. Map number 3 will be Lotus with T1 on Defense. Good? Alright, good luck to you both, guys.
This is it, a do-or-die fight for the final spot at playoffs here at Masters Tokyo, and it comes down to T1 and EDG. No matter what happens, it will be a historical moment. This is the thing though, Mimi. We have a peculiar matchup where I don't know if one team is even necessarily the favorites.
I don't think there is a favorite in this one, and I think the first match between the two proved it. It came down to a third map, overtime, for T1 to get it across the line. But since then, EDG, they've gone to the lower bracket. They've broken through their story. They beat Na'Vi. They have their first international win, and now someone just has to stop them.
And EDG wants to make this right. We have seen the map veto. The two first maps are going to be the same as last time. If they're going to make it out of groups, it has to be the direct improvement from what happened last time and actually being able to get those closing maps for them.
And for two teams who have only just gotten their first win at an international event, this is where the pressure is on to prep for a rematch. It's hard in these group stages. You're playing match after match, day after day. You don't have a lot of time to turn around a new idea. And that's what they're going to have to do there, especially since it is the same first two maps, like you were saying.
Honestly, they had me. I thought maybe we were going to get Pearl, but EDG were the ones to choose not to go to Pearl despite overcoming their demons on Pearl.
Maybe they think that they have become too readable. Maybe they think that they cannot improve much on the map. Maybe they don't enjoy the meta probably, or they think that they have a better chance. If everything is going to come to a third map, let it be a new one.
It's going to be interesting if we do get there, but we're starting the series on a perfect rematch here of Fracture, which for T1, this is where they play their double duelist comp. They looked electric versus EDG in that first game. And EDG on the other side are running that solo duelist comp with the Jet, where they're putting a lot of emphasis on Kung Kung. And I think they kind of struggled to deal with, especially the Flood retakes that were really good out of T1.
I mean, let's have a look at the Prime Gaming agents. So like, you guys mentioned the double duelist already versus Kung Kung, but it was Saya Kakuka on this map that came on top, despite Kung Kung kind of coming online later on.
I think that it brings you the flexibility to have to duel this, especially when you're going against a team that is very XFU heavy, that has all the support building up for Kung Kung. If you want the flexibility to be supportive in different parts of the map, and definitely make it fast, that double duelist relieves a lot of the pressure and just playing a single one.
It absolutely does, but for EDG, this comp actually lets them slow it down a little bit more sometimes on this Fracture. You have a lot of cancel options with this double initiator, with those two abilities in the stun and the flash that are going to be recharging in the mid-round. So EDG have a lot of options with this one. We'll have to see if it'll be a different outcome.
Well, the last one was a giga banger, and I have no doubt this one is going to be as well. As we head into map 1 with your casters for today, it is Pansy and HyperX.
I couldn't ask for a better situation here, Mike. We get a rematch between these two. And it was a bloodbath before, right? Let's not mince our words with this. That was absolutely insane. Now, they've both taken different routes to get back to this point, however. We've come back to one thing that's at least a similarity, which is the map pool. So what do we make of it, seeing this video look similar?
This is interesting. I'm not sure if EDG just come away, kind of want to stick to, obviously, what they know of. I mean, the bans are the same. Haven's the one that kind of sticks out for me, though. And again, obviously talking map 2 first, but that second half of Haven for T1 did not look good at all. They relied on the recovery factor, obviously bounced back into the decider, yes, but Fracture's one that actually, I think in terms of form, and the big highlight for me, obviously being Kang, Smoggy yesterday was absolutely bonkers throughout that series. So if he actually has a little bit of a swing up here, we could see a different result on Fracture in my eyes.
Yeah, living a little in the shadow of the Colossus, but it's completely reasonable when you've got a superstar in the making on your side. I think he's turned attentions around the world. But Kang, that guy is absolutely incredible.
Man of the hour.
Truly, truly. Now, is that just going to be a group stage performance that turns some heads, or will it make it to the playoffs? We're going to find out now. T1 going to kick things off on that defending side, and of course that then means EDG get to dictate that pace on the attack.
Slow start actually here from EDG. Do have a little bit of pressure from Chichu towards Arcade, potentially when contact comes through here. Oh, Sire's going to be able to really have a say in this, because there's not going to be too, well, I was going to say EDG. Forced away by the smoke actually, a big gap towards A site, but no control of Dish as of yet. EDG just invest all in towards main here.
And T1 feeling no necessity to move just yet, not going to bring that additional player back towards A. Giving a lot towards Munchkin, his capability here. He's posted up on it, does have a turret as well. That should be ringing the alarm bell. Smoke soon to follow as well, just going to be littering the side. This will be instantly a retake. It's more kind of looking towards the likes of Chichu maybe to try and find something here. Again, this shouldn't be a problem just yet.
I was going to say, how late does Chichu actually sit on this? Because Munchkin's coming to hard clear. And he's so deep here, he's going to find Chichu completely unaware, but still gets the kill.
That's unbelievable! Now T1, how much value can they get? Nothing! Nobody takes down 2, maybe even 3 actually, tell a lie. And it's left Ban with everything in front of him. 4 players to try and locate. And that fumble up by Dish could definitely haunt them here. And feeling almost it's impossible. Just being chipped away at by Smoggy. You keep everyone else holding that cross. EDG got everything they wanted on that start.
It doesn't really come down to much, but Munchkin, with a good read on the situation, obviously, to come through and remove that possibility of EDG having a little more control on the north side, but swing through the smoke, 3 players of T1 fall as they try to collapse on Sands. Unfortunate turn of events here. Looks like T1 might even be stacking up to get a little bit aggressive.
What are they bringing in? I'm only seeing a Sheriff so far for Ban, and that's it, so...
Just going to stun off and try and swing this.
Do well on the stun.
Smoggy.
Okay, well, this round's all but over, isn't it? Sire player just sitting up towards the side, going to hear these steps. How much damage can one man do? Smoggy is low, so I guess there's a chance he could do something towards that. Plant's going to come in. That's now down. Smoggy get caught up here. Already 2 big kills. There it is. First, any more? No, not to be. So EDG keeping it clean, but looks like T1 were willing to brawl on it.
Trying to get something done here early on, but EDG previously, I mean actually versus T1 as well, constantly stacked up. Chichu, yes, disconnecting in a couple of these early defaults, but it'll be difficult for T1 to really get anything going in that regard.
I'm scared of seeing Smoggy's ult so close, and especially on a map like Fracture. That feels like a given. Try and do that in the bonus. That's going to put T1 right under the gun now.
That lineup is ridiculous.
Wow.
T1 stacked up outside, well, towards A main here. EDG creeping in dish. There's not going to be any utility here with Munchkin rotating across towards B site. Sire has deep control towards main. Trailblazer ready to go as soon as the smoke drops, I imagine.
Trying to fold on this. Paint Shell to go through, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Can they escape in time? And here comes the pressure from the other side, dropping down by Dish. Sight's going to be theirs. EDG looking to try and retake this fight. Zeta, though, lovely little hold there. Going to try and keep some composure, but look who's hunting him. Gunkang already there. Makes light work of one, and the follow-up from Smoggy makes this comfortable as T1 crumbling under this. That ult came on perfectly. The crunch to follow as well. And T1 looking for miracles from Munchkin. And he's got a clear sight first, and the cross will be watched too. No utility, spotted, chipped down, dealt with. EDG converting bonus too.
A huge financial cushion now created. Like even previously, I believe Kankang, we saw that Bladestorm round 2 orb farm. In a similar situation to start off the first half here, but a round in hand. T1 tried to get a little proactive, and even though I was saying it before this round, they actually identify the weaker side of this default. But the pinch comes through perfectly. EDG just flood out of drop all the way into the backside of main. There's nothing really T1 can do in that situation.
T1 left shattered a little here. Seeing stingers, marshal, sheriffs, bits and bobs. It'll be a rough one to try and do some damage on.
Well, last time, I believe we saw T1 revert very quickly back towards just focus on retakes. Whether or not this is the same sort of thing they're going to test early on. Light investment here, stingers, some sheriffs, and a marshal, but...
Chichu's timing here. Munchkin once again. Yeah, feeling a little bit of that. Again, they are on a bit of a half buy, if anything. Going to deny the initial plant, that's not bad. Maybe allow that smoke to dissipate slightly further, give them a chance to do some damage on the way back out from it. This time, though, plant goes in. Smoke should be fading soon enough, but for now, they at least get a little bit of cover to play behind EDG.
So actually, what damage is possible here, to be honest. Carpe tagged up. Kankang going to swing onto this fight too.
One enemy remains.
It's a formality at this point. On clean-up duty, there will be a Prime Gaming flawless here. I believe we did see a very early timeout as well from T1. And like I said, that was when you saw the switch. Conceding a lot of space, they didn't want to get proactive and happy to actually stack up, play numbers in a retake.
Gotta start seeing a little bit more from T1 here. Feeling like the understatement of the century, but they haven't been particularly doing much damage either. So far, side player 2 kills and he's leading the board. So need to get a little more active in this one. EDG kind of walking through the matchup so far. Converting the bonus obviously is the dream effect. Having that ult ready to go in that time, also fantastic. See what they bring in this time around. EDG slow and cautious to challenge towards A. This puts a lot on ban here.
He's fairly committed as well. Very deep position. EDG looking to slow things down. What's an anticipation of T1 flipping the switch and getting a little more aggressive? I mean, it is the heavier stack this side, but man, swings up to 2, Kankang will punish.
And that's the first pick found, and still above a minute.
So many options.
Exactly, that's a great outcome for EDG. The patience going to pay off here.
I've got your trail.
And we know they can play that fast pace if necessary. So Renee's going to at least slow down the ability to springboard off the back of those Seekers, but they're still going to try and forge that path through. Munchkin forced to rescind quite far back. He could be hunting down here, but Chichu actually just missing that window of opportunity, but he could catch Sire player potentially. Could continue along that path, but with the spike now down, T1, let's see if they look better in these retakes. Already Zeta going to find Howdong. That's not a bad beginning.
Chichu should swing onto this. Yeah, Chichu actually able to get away, and a little bit of a missed opportunity, Lauren.
Certainly is. But look who's on the site. Not anymore. Massive from Zeta. That's a big step. More. They've got it. Munchkin to find nobody. They're doing exactly what they needed. The change up here from T1, seeing a little deeper, even after losing out that first player. Diffuse is already towards halfway. Nothing to deny it now. Beautiful. Excellent round from Zeta. And exactly what the doctor ordered for T1. Mike, I think they heard you there. changing up for that retake rather than those early challenges, maybe excluding ban.
I was going to say, yeah, and this is after conceding the first blood. The aftershock seemed a million miles off here from Smoggy. Very strange to see, but T1 on the back of Zeta execute this game plan perfectly. Curious if that's actually now something T1 will latch onto. Problem being, Kang now has an operator and the Blade Storm available.
Yeah, this guy is terrifying. I think we all know that by now. Have to see what he can achieve in this. That slow style does give him a little more room to play as well. I doubt Ban's going to be readdressing any of that aggression he ran with last round, and that's a very early investment of the ult. And it's all for nobody. Who's come out of this and still standing, still just fine. Hold on! This is a mistake from T1, almost losing everything. And while this happened, they took towards the site. EDG looking towards the B site already. A little bit of a trade, yes, but they get themselves Spike ready in hand. Maybe a plant to be tested soon. And a player advantage at this point is massive as well.
Zeta and Carpe left to try and recover this. So we've got some utility to work with. Chichu tapping the spike. Molly will land. It won't force Chichu out of position though. Still a safe plant.
Spike planted.
So I'm looking at the timing for Kung at this point, but Zeta going to take those first couple of steps. He wants to go quick. Try and get ahead of the lockdown, and he can't. Chichu greets him with a smile. Kang will lose his life, but it's Chichu on the counter swing to be just perfectly positioned. EDG, again, answering back here.
And again, Sire spots nobody here outside Dish, and very quickly T1 make a decision to try and isolate him with the Rolling Thunder, but I don't think either player actually positions anti-flash, which means nobody actually punishes on the back of that investment, on the back of further T1 aggression.
I'm a little worried seeing T1 here. I want to see a timeout soon. If they can't correct now, I want to see the pumping of the brakes.
I mean, they've got lots of tools now. Obviously, Rolling Thunder invested, but everything else available. Storm up here for Ban, but removed immediately.
That's heartbreak for Ban. He is being bullied around this map. Wow, player. There's so many players waiting for this.
Flash through.
Anything? Okay. It's still favorable traits for EDG. They still hold 4 to the 3. Munchkin, oh, you're very fortunate to be standing. Chichu waiting, foiled. Oh, it's just perfect. EDG are outclassing T1 in this. Looking a little behind the curve. As Carpe and Zeta need to try and get a move on if they want to try and catch him in the heels, but the opportunity's dwindled already. The plant's going to be theirs. Time's going to be on their side.
EDG are just so quick to react. Set up some of these pinches. I think T1 are feeling like, because Kang has the operator, that's where the stack is, the heavier side of this default, which is why they look to get aggressive outside Dish, but it's another example of EDG almost baiting T1 into a false sense of security. And I'm with you, we need to see a timeout, how we do need to see an adjustment.
This is T1's pick. If you're just tuning in, didn't see the veto. Fracture was their first choice, really. This is what they've lent towards, feeling this was their best opportunity. And EDG have come out swinging. This has looked extremely comfortable. If we're kind of talking, you know, let's say consideration from last game to this one when they were faced off, not the one in between, EDG, if not, look, you know, fantastic. They're much better. Confidence is there. We kind of discussed the idea of, you know, how's that momentum going to look? How's that confidence going to look? It suits them beautifully. Cutting a fantastic figure with them now. Money swelled to a brilliant point. I'm looking for the timeout. I think it's come in for T1 here. They still have a lot of kit to play with, at least in the form of the ults. So they could have something to lean into here. But it's not just that. It's
these rounds aren't getting to the point where ults become the deciding factor for T1 there. I believe last time they actually won out in terms of their defensive half on First Bloods. Now this, a stark contrast to that. And I gotta say, there's some situations where it's reminiscent of Pearl, where there's not much utility invested towards these openers. Sire's not necessarily supported. Ban, unfortunately, getting slapped about in terms of opening peaks here.
Ban's on 0 to 7 currently. And look, sometimes you have a bad game. That's what it is, but you want to see him doing a little bit more than that. Again, kind of when we first looked towards T1 as a team, we kind of discussed how Ban was that confidence player. Him having this start is actually extremely worrying. This could really hinder his progress going forward. This could be something we look at, you know, does this continue throughout the series? Does he get a nice little change up? Does that mental get switched into effect later on? Beyond that, but to be completely honest though, I wouldn't say this is just a, you know, Ban having a bad map, you know, being completely influential to the outcome. Everyone from T1 is struggling to find impact here against EDG. This has to be a whole ethos rework, complete change up here. Let's see what the timeout has achieved. So they're going to go back in with a little bit of kit, not fully situated, but looking like they're going to try and buy around whatever they can.
Yeah, Bulldog in the hands of Munchkin. Rifles for Cyan, Ban. It's a Sheriff here for Zeta. That's just a full shield for Carpe.
Look at nobody. He's just drifting.
He's literally just walking up to challenge the smoke. I mean, Cyan luckily has read it with the boom bot. I don't know if maybe he saw something on the edge of that smoke, maybe a mini-map ping, but again, it's just one player of EDG. Yeah. Look how much respect he is commanding on the mini-map. There's 4 people here from T1 fixated on this position now.
I think they're starting to read into it though a little bit. They started to consider that rotation, 2 of them kind of drifting back through CT, but see how close EDG are to just kind of springboarding onto that B site. Kangkang already starting to take those first couple of tentative steps, but we know the player who's here on the other side is going to be Munchkin. It's that pretty deep. No one's actively challenging this.
Maybe looking for a retake here of the showstopper, the orbital strike, and the lockdown. This doesn't come through just yet.
Lucky to be breathing. Kangkang wants this pick. Waits for 3, pulls the trigger, doesn't get anyone on the other side. There's the lockdown. So they have a lot of tools here, Mike. Do they get the chance to even
Nobody's reflanking.
This is dirty.
He's coming back towards spawn.
This is dirty work.
Molly will buy time here while the lockdown goes down. Chichu has 2 nanoswarms, but nobody is aware of this.
How much can this one man do? He's closing the gap. They're going to be crossing towards the side. Kangkang is holding them in position. The flank's going to be there in a moment's time. There it is between the 2 of them. It's deadly. And now Sideplayer and Munchkin have no good options. So many players to find, and none of them falling. EDG are just miles ahead of T1.
The perfect storm, honestly. The timing here of the molly, I don't even know when the penny drops for nobody. To reflank back through dish there. But nobody from T1 considered the possibility. Just so happens, Kangkang will still go. I mean, he's good for 3.
Of course he is.
Still in this situation.
Out from me.
Yeah, EDG in total control.
That was kind of a half buy, so I guess, but still, they invested behind it. This is the buy that they're going to be hopefully making some impact on the board. We have the operator out for Ban. Need to see T1 come online, because this is tragic so far. Getting bullied around this map.
One thing EDG are really good at, in terms of early round indicators, they're so good at switching up who takes first contact, who shows first presence. So T1 are left scratching their heads of where Kangkang is, where's the operator.
Look at the amount of freedom he's got here as well. Even the fact that he's got this far with feeling no pressure certainly gives you a couple of answers to the questions you may have, and T1 sitting a little deeper. They do have a player watching it! Bloody hell!
He's so quick.
He's actually nuts, isn't he? A real treat to watch throughout all of the games. Ban now has to be prepared. Flash going to force him off the angle. Has to fall away. And the pace has just changed here. They're allowing time for Kangkang just to take those steps around the map. He's got that first pick again. They are down to about 35 seconds though, so they will have to lean in towards one of these 2 sites.
I mean, T1 have the correct read here though, that Kangkang's found the pick, and they're going to drift back towards B, but this B site setup will be tested once again. And Sideplay just none the wiser.
Oh, but Munchkin is on the case this time, going to find 2. 17 seconds now. Spike not on the site. This could be the first big round for T1 to win in some time. And Carpe wants to do it himself. 10 seconds now. All down to Chichu, and this is tough. Ban still standing. Munchkin just around the corner. Spike's down. But so is Chichu. T1 finally get another on the board.
How many of those sorts of rounds, though, could T1 pull off? And they have to win a couple more to chip away at this cushion that EDG have. And Carpe goes huge here with the walk out of the smoke. rewarded with 2, but again, bigger picture. Is that sustainable? Is that the sort of game that T1 want to play here on Fracture? Still got the showstopper, still got the orbital strike. But EDG building back into a couple of big ultimates themselves. One off the lockdown as well.
Look at this again, nobody trying to sell him something over towards A, but I'm looking at Kang here trying to make progress. Arcade the first port of call. Munchkin tucked behind the box, not wanting to take any of that fight.
How deep does Kang actually go here? There's no second peek behind Munchkin. Ban has his sights set towards main. Looks like EDG are actually stacking up here to pop on the back of this.
Well, Ban's done well. And actually Munchkin does incredibly well, still to find one. Takes down Haodong, that's not bad. Ban starting to activate a little, needs to fall away, has to go up the site. EDG gonna take a little bit of that room the other side. Now,
nobody's creeping on this.
Yeah, hold on. It is a beautiful flash through the smoke. Ban gets punished for lingering just a little bit further ahead. Sire player might have the timing right, might not. Gorgeous adjustment, nobody's gone down. But it is this man, the one and only, standing tall and taking one. Falls away, finds safety. He's gonna dip back in, he wants a bit of it, doesn't he? You can tell he wants it. He's waiting though. 2 already this round, we'll need 4. Here's the steps. And waits, and waits, and waits a second too long. Sire player will find him, move him. Give T1 a little bit of a window.
Even in that situation there, nobody's happy to get aggressive on that smoke, paying no respect to T1.
Get out of my way! I've got you.
And even here, Ban digging pretty deep actually. To find this kill onto Chichu. 7-3 now. Again, well, Kang buying the operators down to 200 credits now overall, but still some big ultimates to work with. Should be pretty comfortable for the next. I'm curious actually of what adjustment we see coming out of this timeout.
Yeah. One away from the lockdown for Munchkin, that can be something to keep in mind throughout this, but yeah, they still have a good couple of these ults to play with. Haven't seen much chance to really use them at this point, so might be able to bring something out. I'm looking at Kang actually not seeing him run the operator here. Might have switched that out. Again, this is during the timeout, so maybe discussing their options.
Yeah, potentially here to make use of Rolling Thunder, and actually they want to get Kang now deep onto site. Maybe leans towards looking back at A side potentially.
Back on the operator.
Back on the operator, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just...
They talked him out of it.
Yeah, we did see him kind of switch away from it. I think it was like an OT, and it felt like, oh, if only he'd stuck on it. But yeah, sticking on the operator there, it feels like they were maybe considering, as you highlighted, working with one of those ults, maybe a little bit more pacey, but if he feels he can still be as influential with that operator, sure.
I will say that obviously playing the rifle in this round does protect that round 12 purchase, so
true.
Have to see what gap there is, if any, after this.
Yeah, big investment, but a big player behind it, so see what he can do for it. For starters, a little bit of noise made towards B, flash there.
Yeah, strange actually, because the stim beacon's thrown down by Haodong. Trying to fake heavy presence here towards B site and fake off this lockdown, but Carpe will be able to remove it.
Actually, just seeing Carpe kind of drift back towards A as well. I think they're reading this quite nicely.
Absolutely, and look at Ban's position as well. He's all the way out of dish.
But it will be a retake. There's no way they challenge on this, right? I'm not worried if they drift further committed towards the side, but no, they're going to keep this one a little in check, allow EDG those precious steps towards the side to get the plant down on A. Kang just going to be on that defensive duty, trying to watch anyone trying to peek through that smoke. Oof. Lucky to be alive.
Haodong does burn up the molly as well. I was curious to see if he actually resets all the way towards main here to make use of that. No way is Chichu coming to reflank back behind drop once again.
It looks like he's going to try to. Sire player looking for the impact, but the flashes are just everywhere. He's so blind in this. Unable to really shut down towards it, unable to close down towards it, but Ban's there, Carpe's there. How long still on the side did get healed up, so he's still holding a good bit of ground. Couldn't get the other fight. It's all down to that wrap, that flank, that Chichu position. Halfway achieved. Munchkin trying to play the time, trying to play the man, and Ban gonna keep him dead in this. Lovely work from T1. A much different approach into this now.
Great read on the fake, and as well, what worked for them last time was setting up for these retakes and having bodies to throw at it. Finally see the showstopper invested as well. Didn't amount to much, but cleared a lot of space, and luckily Ban actually regroups here with the rest of T1. He's not punished by this reflank from Chichu. So 3 unanswered. Coming to last, again, because of the plant. We'll be able to get rifles across the board here for EDG. And give it a chance, but doesn't catch nobody.
Not this time. And it looks like Kankang already eyeing up that B site. Let's see who's here, though. Sire player doing his best turret impression.
What's tough here is if T1 feel as if they want to lean towards retakes, Howdong potentially has the molly and the orbital strike here.
I like this timing, though, as well. Just seeing nobody once again kind of investing utility a little later into the round, around that 1 minute. Just keeping those 3 players present. Kankang gonna get towards the site. Overwhelms. Munchkin's gone down. Now he looks at who else was here. Sire player, only good for 1. It's actually Kankang to get him 2, so Plant's gonna come in. 4v3, man advantage here to EDG.
No flank once again. It's all coming through spawn here. Chichu will find Carpe. It's only Zeta and Ban left to try and recover now. A couple of flashes to work with, but Zeta stuck on an operator.
Yeah, not
a tall order, Lauren.
Not easy at all. Ban gonna try and get across towards the site, maybe. But the flashes are there, and so's this man. He wants to end it in style, get this half done with. Oh, okay. Smoggy's got him. Don't worry. Smoggy's there. So a little bit of a kind of reminder of EDG's, I guess, capability of pace towards the end there. But it felt like this half was just 2 streaks. Yes, I'd say EDG came out the better of that, of course, with 8 rounds to their name, but kind of hot and cold a little throughout this.
I mean, thank God T1 got 4, to be honest. Very one-sided affair to start things off. But a massive lead for EDG to work with moving into the second half. I mean, last time this was 6-6.
Yeah, very different look between these two now. EDG maybe keeping that momentum in mind, working their way forward. This is looking much better from them, at least if you're looking pound for pound in that previous matchup. But that's our thoughts. What about the desk?
Thank you very much, Pansy and Hypoc. Yes, a massive improvement. And Kukuka, a lot of that came down to some of the cool nitty-gritties we saw from EDG.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to take a look at one of the rounds that we saw from them, especially round number 3. This is a bonus for them. So if we jump into it right away, I wanted to show how this round is all about the assisting. It's all about the control that comes from the other side. Actually, it's a round that revolves around Smoggy. He's 1 orb away from having his ultimate, and that is something that we can see just setting up how they want to play this round. We can see in the minimap that they're already moving towards Dish to grab that orb. From then on, they can choose what to do. They can decide how they're going to go onto the side. From the side of T1, though, we see that they're already ready to just have some pressure on A-hole to prevent this kind of things from happening, knowing that your breach is playing from sand. This is a play that we've seen time and time again. And if we play the clip, we can see how all of this is going to unravel. We see that they've put this smoke that is going to, you know, and not allow EDG to have that vision, and the support is going to come through. EDG gets that orb, that ult is going to be ready for Smoggy, and all this utility dumping comes from the other side, comes from T1. That second stun that we're seeing here, supporting EDG from mid-map, is from Smoggy. They're already running onto side. The plant is going to be secured, and it is a very clean round. And that is so important because getting the bonus grants you that economical superiority and also comfort moving into the rest of the half.
And I think that's what defined EDG's play in that first half, was their reactions and how good they were from this squad. But T1 did rally back, and it came down to their retakes. At the first part of the half, they were too heavily committing to playing on site and really getting punished by those executes. And when they were going for those forward plays, getting punished as well. But the retakes were working. They found the adaptation. The question is, do they have another answer into the second half?
Yeah, and the question is for EDG, Pansy and Hyper, can they close this one out convincingly?
I think that little caveat at the end there, Sue, is actually quite important, is convincingly. Yes, this is T1's map pick, but with 4 rounds, I'm not loving what we've seen from them so far. Yes, there was a little bit of a resurgence towards the end, but overall, it wasn't ideal. However, EDG, a little more convincing in their current form.
Sure, and EDG are actually demonstrating here they can slow down the tempo and still work the map on a macro level that really T1 are unable to find a response to. Kang here. Maybe a mini-map moment there. He's looking elsewhere, but Smoggy there to back him up.
Yeah. Gonna keep themselves healthy in this with 4 to the 3. The remaining 3 held back behind the smoke. This is gonna be a horrible way out. Smoggy turns the flash just perfectly. Stunning from Smoggy, and EDG will be grinning with that one.
Very quickly a chance for EDG to get themselves onto double digits here. Clean work from Smoggy. I'm curious in terms of the early round, if T1 are happy to try and identify the whereabouts of Kang, maybe wait out some utility here, or they're happy to just stack up and go for some of these executes. Again, pistol round, not necessarily an indicator for how the buy rounds will go. See 4 people across the dish here. Maybe want to set the tone, or at least imply that there's going to be heavy pressure here.
I don't think anyone cared, though.
No.
He's like, cool, I'll put a flash there. Nice. That's about all they did. Second flash, we'll identify side player. I don't know how many obviously are behind that. And T1 not being particularly subtle, just maybe taking the tour for the orbs if they can. That'll be maybe on the list. Munchkin, gotta be cautious here, could easily go down. But now he's just gonna try and play on that corner. See who's prowling on the other side. Kang is there. Just about to drift away, though, not really feeling that presence. And the second attempt at drawing attention towards Dish is going to warrant a response. Smoggy, not really bothered by Munchkin here. Speaking of unbothered, oh, this man, just nasty with it. This is against pistols, though, so this won't be in the highlight reel, but it will be the 10th for EDG.
An answer back from T1, and we need it quick. 6 rounds separating them. They didn't even stack up orbs. I'm not even sure who took the second outside arcade here, so nothing to latch onto in terms of this first ult cycle.
What's the bonus looking like? What do we have? Okay.
I mean, it looks good because Kang's 2 off Bladestorm.
That does.
In my eyes, that's a good setup for EDG.
Oh, I saw a Bucky for a second. He opted against it. Unfortunate.
Oh, what's unfortunate is Munchkin solo on the other side of this outside of arcade. Kang looks like he might just play a deeper position here off the Nano Swarm.
Okay.
Ton of information from Chi-Chu.
Can they deal with it, though? T1 will be outgunning them here, but already Chi-Chu actually going to connect well. And it's how long to swing! Oh, this is tragic from T1. Crumbling under the pressure from EDG. We've got a boatload of upgrades now, and Munchkin is left reeling off of that.
So, whether or not he gets timing here on the first, yes, but 4 left to find. Chi-Chu down to 10 HP. Nobody, though.
His timing on
the
these
reflank,
flanks.
yeah.
He's such a little rat the way he plays. It's so good. Look at him. There's no way you get around it. That's a rifle, a nice little reward for him as well. And EDG are just playing a much better game here. T1 look hesitant. They're not looking like they did before. They haven't had that spark to ignite them yet. Conversion of the bonus here, it's just made matters worse.
Yeah, so Chi-Chu even stands his crown versus ban, where he's almost like isolated.
Enemy remaining.
But EDG's so much happier to absorb these side hits, and it's not even a scrap. It's just EDG swing all at the same time, and T1 are overwhelmed. They haven't got any tangibles. There's no comfort in terms of finding an engagement towards any player of EDG.
Yeah, and look, I think we've noted this from that first time they met up. When EDG are playing, you know, out of this world, we'll absolutely give them credit. But we have to also identify that T1 looks very flat here. Not having that same capability we saw in those first matchups, even that little bit of a spark against NRG, for example. They just look a little out of this game, not looking ready for this map at all. And I hate going to those intangibles of confidence, momentum. It's such, you know, wishy-washy phrasing, but I mean, EDG have it in droves, apparently. Whatever it is, they're confident, they're playing together, they are completely and utterly outdoing T1. This hasn't been a competitive game.
I mean, let's not forget as well that there was a map in that NRG series where it was on the back of ban. It was T1 were only still in the map because of ban.
Yes.
It was very top-heavy in here. Unfortunately, we haven't really got anybody from T1 standing tall in terms of the numbers, in terms of visible impact in some of these rounds. Unfortunately, an 8-4 half, we didn't see an early response here from T1. Will force a purchase here. Gaps in utility, 4 Bulldogs.
Gaps in armor.
Yeah.
Oh, this uncomfortable watching if you're a T1 fan. And this matchup just not quite delivering to the same expectation. Again, credit to EDG in that regard. They are playing beyond expectation, I guess. But T1, I want to see more from them.
We're going to run it down here.
Yep, looks pacey. Van quickly going to make his way through sand. Oh, lovely start. That's the beginning. Is he going to wake up here? Nobody's gone down as well. This is much better from T1. Pacey, filled with intent. And EDG left with 2, Chichu and Haodong. Looking at Chichu's positioning here, don't think he's going to be able to get anywhere near enough in time to make any problems for that plant, but that's a shot. Hold on. We're down to a 2v2 now. Van making this look almost worrying for T1 with him falling. Oh dear, what is going on? Munchkin trades it back out on 1v1 now. Chichu up against Munchkin. Chichu getting a little closer here. Munchkin waiting. Gonna hear these steps, gonna note those shots. And he waits, he better hit this shot. Chichu closing the gap now, the tag! And he's got him!
Chichu spams the pre-fire and then swings onto it. I think Munchkin even eats a headshot on that first spam.
It looks like it. Oh dear. And that was the best round we'd had yet. I thought that could have been the instigating round that maybe got
Pace change looked beautiful for T1.
Confident, powerful to it.
Yeah.
You take them when you get them.
And the one thing EDG don't need in this map so far is freebies like that.
Yeah.
The coin flips go in their way as well.
Oh dear. Operator out. How much is in the tank for T1?
Looking to continue with this pace, looking to pinch on a site here, but Kankang in the backlines, he's found Munchkin. Look at where that kill is.
I know, I just said how far has he gone exploring for this? T1 looking to try and be aggressive on it, but EDG still holding so much of that territory. Haodong going to send Carpe away. Side players, Zeta and Ban, the only 3 alive. And it's for more for how long than anything. Kankang is on the hunt. He wants blood. He's out for it. Ban puts him to bed, but it's all on Ban and it's all but done. EDG stormed through map 1. T1 shattered by that form.
Can barely hold a light up against EDG, to be honest with you. Playing a totally different tempo than they did the other day. Like I said, T1 just didn't have, you know, examples of rounds that felt sustainable, that felt repeatable for them. And this was, unfortunately, just a story of first bloods. I think T1 managed 3 overall on this map, constantly playing from a deficit.
This is going to be a very hard map to quickly forget for T1. They just got blown out of the water. EDG coming out, firing on all cylinders though. Credit to them for that. But I wanted more from T1, at least on map 1. This was their map pick. You walked into it, and you didn't make your impact today.
Wow, Mari, because we go to Haven, that was the only map with a veto last time that wasn't close. EDG completely outclassed T1 in the second half. I think T1 managed 1 round, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, gosh.
And again, it was another example of where they're able to scrape 1 across the line. It wasn't as if they were closely contested. EDG were constantly in control.
Yeah, this is scary times for T1. They are going to need to wake up. Take a second or 2, walk away backstage, take some fresh air here, because they cannot perform like that. EDG have turned up like they want that playoff spot. Like it means the world to them because it does. They have fought so hard to get here, and they're now one map away.
Playing like they're worthy of it here today as well. You come out onto this stage with a rematch and embarrass T1 like that in the opening map, and you got to feel good about coming into Haven if you're EDG.
The stars are aligning for EDG. One more map in front of them. The dream of playoffs is tangible, it's real, and it's there. Does T1 have anything left to bring to the plate? Because they have to do it now. They have to turn up for map 2, or it's all but over.
Hey guys, I'm here with Coach After, and we're gonna just dive right into this real fast. And of course, Iris is here as well. You guys have had a quick turnaround time to get ready for the game that's on this stage, and the results speak for themselves. How has this experience been for you?
因为其实从昨天到今天，你们是有一个非常快速的调整嘛，然后包括说目前现在这样一个结果还是不错的，所以你整体来讲你是怎么做到的，以及说对目前这样的一个情况感觉怎么样子的？
第一次对战到 T1 的时候，我感觉我们的状态跟战术内容都没有呈现出来，可能因为环境太紧张了。然后今天我们把所有的东西都发挥出来了，对。
I think the first time when we met T1 on stage, we didn't play on our strength, so we didn't perform at the best form that we can have. But today, I definitely think that we play on the best peak of our form. So we were playing on our strength, pretty satisfied.
Well, I mean, the results speak for themselves, Coach. Good job, brother. Anyway, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Indeed, the results speak for themselves. I'm Youngsu. I'm back here with Kakuka and Mimi. That was actually the most dominant victory EDG have ever shown in international stage. Previously, it was a 13-5 against HyperX, and Mimi a 13-4 against T1. This is crazy.
Yeah, it was just incredible. The second half, they didn't let T1 get a single round. It is such a turnaround from the last time we saw these two teams play. And whereas T1, I feel like we're trying a lot of the same ideas, a lot of the same things. They really got caught off guard by EDG throwing in more aggression, throwing in more reclears in the mid-round, and throwing in Kong Kong playing incredibly.
Just this head-to-head between the Jets, it's I don't even know how to describe it because of what we just saw on the server. We talked at the beginning of the day, are the nerves going to be there? Is Kankan just going to keep improving on that performance? And he definitely delivered. He keeps up this performance, they're already in playoffs.
I mean, Ban said that they were going to shut him down. They had a plan, but it doesn't look like they did.
Yeah, I mean, they were not able to shut him down. And I love the way that this team uses Kong Kong on this map. On their defensive side, he's almost always just holding hands with Smoggy, pushing together to get space on an extremity, to get them that information to set up for the retake that they want to play. And on their attack side as well, they also just get so much value out of him. He's allowed to just play alone with an operator on the other side of the map, and he still gets value out of it. It's insane.
I'm glad you mentioned Smoggy because let's check him out here in the Verizon high-speed moment from round 13. I saw a tweet saying that Kong Kong and team, Kakuka, I am offended. Like, do they watch EDG play?
Yeah.
Because how are you going to do Smoggy like this?
I can justify Kong Kong just having a lot of fans out there just by the performance this he's been having during this tournament. I can see people getting excited by the plays that he gets on the stage. But, you know, I think that we should, you're being fair. We need to give everybody a piece of the cake because everyone from EDG has been to the best of the performance.
Yeah, and even when you watch this team play in China, a lot of the time Smoggy can even overshadow what Kong Kong does. He's such a good player, despite the fact that he's switching between so many different roles for this team. He used to play Jet way back in the day, and you still see the flashes of brilliance from him.
Yeah, it's a great start for EDG, but can they keep this up? Map 2 is coming up. It's going to be Haven. This is where they did actually, the one map they beat T1 the last time we saw them, but Kakuka, after this 13-4, I am really worried about T1.
Oh yeah, completely. They definitely have to have some quick conversations if they want to bring it back. I think that they did not expect this level of confidence coming from EDG. This, you know, coming to step in like this. And Haven is definitely going to be a very difficult one. We were talking about them not being able to get a single round on that second half. And last time that they played against each other, that second half, they actually only got one round, which means if EDG is feeling comfortable, if they're getting the rounds, if they're getting the momentum, they're very easy. It's very easy for them to snowball on.
Well, let's hear from Coach Autumn of T1 and see what they got for us in map 2.
Hey guys, I'm here now with Coach Autumn, and Autumn, you guys have played a lot of rounds over the last few days, and it's only going to continue to get more challenging. How are you going to keep the boys focused as you get ready for this map 2? Hold on.
항상 가장 중요한 거는 그 모든 라운드들에 배우는 게 있고 저희가 실수한 게 있고 상대방들이 잘한 게 있는데 이제 그런 거를 정확히 객관화를 해가지고 어떤 게 문제점인지를 파악하고 언럭키한 건 언럭키하게 넘길 수 있으면서 결국 다음 게임을 잡으면 되니까 그런 멘탈적인 그런 준비 그거를 가장 우선시하고 있습니다.
So every round there's going to be mistakes and things that we overlook. So we have to catch those errors and trial and errors and develop our skills and gameplay according to that. And there may be some mistakes and things that we cannot control, but we have to overlook that as well and try to improve ourselves throughout the round.
Yeah, well, you know, I've had the pleasure of seeing those boys kill it across a variety of different games, and I have no doubt that they could turn it around. Looking forward to seeing what you can do in map 2. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, GB. In map 2, they don't have a choice here, Mimi. They have to turn this around. Otherwise, they're going home.
It's going to be difficult to do so, though. EDG right now are on a 7-0 win streak thus far this year on Haven. It is their home map. It's one where they beat T1 last time they played, and T1 honestly looked out of ideas in that game. The second half just pushing through mollies, trying to go for these executes, and not having a fallback plan that we've been able to see from them in other matches.
Well, let's have a look at the Prime Gaming agent select. Kukuka, of course. I don't expect any changes here.
No, I think that in this moment of the competition, especially for the match that we have today, where one of these teams is going to go home, and maybe it's T1 if they don't manage to find this win on Haven. We don't expect changes on the map because, you know, this happened, what, 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was super recent, so you don't have a lot of time to re-prep. And for T1, the question is, can they rally? Their defensive side is definitely the weaker one. They struggled on that one a little bit yesterday, and EDG are really solid on this attack. This is another map where they're oftentimes putting a lot of emphasis on Kong, allowing him to play those extremities alone and then come back in the mid-round to go for these fast executes.
Some people might think, hey, I'm not a fan of Cypher here on this map just because we see a lot of Killjoy, but for Chichu, it's something different. He's definitely a force to be reckoned.
A very dominant start for EDG. They are one map away from making playoffs, Pansy and HyperX. I cannot believe that I'm saying that.
I get what you mean, but we have to be honest here. T1, they looked flat on map 1, and now my worries continue here into map 2. If anything, this was the map that probably defined them the most. There was a bit of a, I guess, disparity in that regard.
Yeah, there was, and again, it varied by the half preference. Obviously, T1 leaned heavily towards retake setups, and I actually believe they didn't win a single round on defense where the spike wasn't planted and defused. So again, very telling if they're able to kind of play damage control, but you need to see some sort of, I guess, advantage here coming out of the first half in terms of the scoreline, because the second half, again, I would summarize it the same way that we just saw map 1 from T1. They were absent.
They absolutely were. EDG, though, primed in playoffs form, looking good as a collective. Every single one of them having impact. It's time for T1 to turn up, or it's time to go home. To start out, it will be T1 on that defending side, but feeling a little confident, trying to walk down middle, but you can already note it. There will be players watching.
Here as well, actually, the spike am going to deny further progress down mid, and that could have been a big push for T1. Collapsing back very quickly towards A side, but EDG are stacked up outside this as well.
Okay, smokes are in. This is Kong. T1, I'm looking to see if they try and maybe go ahead of this. They are trying, and Smoggy says no. Going to take down one. Kong's there as well. A couple of trades come back through, and man, he still stands. Down to 21 HP, but he's still breathing, but only for a moment longer. Oh, Chichu, come on! The Red Bull clutch to kick it off. A little bit of hope for T1, but only for a moment as EDG rip it away.
Heroics from Ban to come out and find 2 here. Chichu finally shows his hand.
Down A.
See here, Ban's expecting the lurk to come back through spawn. A little bit of a misread, and Chichu makes him pay for it. Heavily invested here for round 2 as well. 3 Bulldogs to work with for EDG. T1 looking curious towards A lobby. Messiah try and get something done here with the Sheriff. Won't be noted just yet.
He wants a fight. Wants a bit of a brawl here. Gets the timing. Just a tag, but he gets it back as well.
Takes a ton of damage.
Still trying to posture up here. Got to be careful though, because he's getting more than a response he'd want. Let's fall away from this now. 1 minute left.
EDG looking to re-clear this space as well. The drone will come through. Will pave the way for Kang to dig a little deeper here. Good timing on the dart though from Zeta.
They're running down the clock pretty well here, T1. Trying to force EDG into one of these sites very late. It's a bit of a gamble. T1 deciding they wanted to lean towards C, but we can see it. EDG opting for that A take. And only one's going to be here. Should be able to call in the cavalry, but not in a position to do much with it now.
Ban on Shorty as well, so this retake going to be very difficult. to get something done there. Doesn't have any smokes up yet either, so no chance even really to pop out here with the... Oh, they might even just go dry here with no smokes. Oh, Bam will put one towards short, though.
Okay, trying to limit some options. Nobody getting played in with How Long as well. Lovely little crossfire here. Smoggy does go down. And T1 looking to see if there's any other options. I don't think they're going to be given anything through CT. Yeah, EDG going to safely cross out towards long. You noted it at the start, though, there was a lot of Bulldogs there, so they don't want to be making any sort of fumbles. They're not going to be overly chasing. T1 just going to have to go down to the spike. So EDG connecting 2 rounds now at the beginning.
Chance to see here how T1 are going to approach their buy rounds this half. Similar to Fracture, no progress towards an ultimate here, so nothing on the cards for either team. GG might look to switch things up now, though. Munchkin will have his setup spread across Garage and the choke point outside B. Look how deep Chichu's position is, though. I feel like with where he's playing now, this might just be a rush C execute off the rip.
Yep. There it is, already going to have Kung on the site. Flash towards back. Swing comes in. Out on spots, no one. The site's there. So this will be a retake coming out from T1, whether they liked it or not, really. And the backline's not really available. That deep positioning coming out from Chichu. He's going to hold a lot of space towards that. Main folks will be CT and Garage, and they need to start making progress here.
This come quick, because Sire's a million miles away from this still.
Nice paranoia, nice smoke. Might be caught out here. Should be, is. Okay, Munchkin, nice work. Kung still alive, though. Gonna take down Munchkin. Spammed away. Band's not gonna let him get away with that. Not able to deal with Chichu, though. A 1v3 is a tall task, though. Does get the Vandal 6 bullets. That is a lot to ask for. Oh my word. Oh my God, Chichu! There's
he didn't
no
get
way.
it.
Wait.
He got the defuse.
How did he get the defuse? He was so close.
That must have been split seconds.
Show me the replay on that.
I thought he had it.
Same. Got to see this one. Again, it felt impossible anyway. 6 bullets, come on.
This is so clean.
Enemy remaining. Last player standing.
I think he thought he won it. Yeah, he did.
Same.
That is outrageous.
Quite close, that. Okay. Well, T1 get around on the board, but look at the state of their money now. They're back down to pistols.
Yeah, 3 sheriffs in this. No Blade Storm from Sire either. If anything, that bonus heavily favors EDG's start here to Haven.
No chance here.
Wow.
Said a little chance. And Kung gonna get away. An attempt made. And look at this guy. He's so hungry. He's so out for blood. Does he know Sire player? Yeah, he does. Absolutely. There's the classic.
God, man.
This guy's an animal. The way he plays is just so nasty to watch.
You send 3 to the slaughter, and Kang cleans up. It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, it's pistols, but there's no way to overwhelm him.
No. Well.
T1 need an early victory and an early confidence booster, because...
Yes. My heart's breaking for them a little bit,
yeah.
but there is, you know, that gap up to playoffs is very real, and Map 1 certainly wasn't up to caliber. I'm hoping Map 2 they at least get a confidence booster to get them back in the game, because right now they feel a little out of it. And Munchkin's going to accept it here as EDG. Post to 3rd now.
Just seconds later shows his hand there.
No charge.
But even in the chaos, he turns the flash. He's superhuman, man.
He needs to be thrown in to big conversations after this event, depending how far EDG go. He has certainly made an impression up against some big names. There's, yeah, there's a reputation to be made from that man. Already certainly a highlight. For now, though, we see the operator out for Saya, so that's something. Does he get anything for it here? Challenges on the other side. EDG, 3 players. Make it the 4th, already down in towards Sua. He's trying to stand his ground here. That's a brave play, considering. Zeta going to post the Hunter's Fury to try and dissuade this approach, but they're ahead of it. Saya player out of the dash now as well. Kung closing in. Saya player, great connection. Takes down the threat. And now operating with 4. Chichu might become it. Keep in mind, he's been filthy so far, 7-0.
This will reveal, actually, that T1 are looking to rotate away from this. Interesting enough, EDG looking to thread the needle, find their way onto B site.
But look at the position they've already been able to gain.
Yeah, Smoggy's drifted onto A.
Yeah, the smoke's going to come from kind of downtown, but he's got all that space here, so if they try and play back in, the only threat is through heaven.
T1 are so paranoid, they're scrambling to try and pick back up some control.
It's on the Saya player to try and...
Disgusting lurk from Haldong as well.
Oh, he's opting to go all the way around CT too. Yep. In case it wasn't already looking rough, he's going to get a whole lot worse.
Hey, Saya's going to get wallbanged.
The second that dart went up. And look at Haldong. Spots 1, spots 2. And he's pulled it. Going to find Ban. Knows where Carpe is. Paranoia's going to go through as well, so Carpe can't even try and trade it. And he's just costing them so much time. They're smothering him now. He's got support in this. It's not just Haldong alone. Smoggy's come around too. They fancy a bit of it. Zeta might be able to try and keep his teammates safe here. Yeah, he is. Okay. But the time. EDG getting a little audacious in the plays. Nobody going hunting too. He wants to take these weapons away. He's done very well for 1. The operator will be staying though. And EDG make it to a 4th.
Desperate to try and give Saya a tool here in the next round. Some ultimates starting to come online for T1. Rolling Thunder and Bladestorm available. Ban does have his TP. Yeah, the fact that it's Munchkin that falls first, the neural theft comes through, EDG just have total control. And they look to exploit that.
It's going to be a T1 timeout, I imagine. Waiting for confirmation on that, pretty certain. Yeah, there it is. So T1 gonna try and pump the brakes here. Outside of what, that diffuse that we saw come in, there was bait. I mean,
I made the same comment in the first map. The rounds that T1 win, it doesn't feel sustainable. And just that was the bonus, if you recall, where even so, everyone fell. They were on a hard eco afterwards. And unfortunately, an early first blood here for Saya, but it equates to nothing.
I'm a little. I just want something to go right for them here. Be it, you know, a cheap win, whatever it is. I want them to have a round because they just look so out of it. It's great to see EDG in this sort of form and control, obviously, but it's.
Well, the concern being, I mean, last time, like I said, that T1 needed a lead in this first half for me because second half of Haven was when the crack started to show and, you know, utility wasn't being used in the early round. Kang was just running away with things on EDG's defensive side. So if EDG come out with a round lead here and a buffer, it's terrifying. T1 have to completely overhaul the way they played the second half of Haven last time.
I just, this round I'm kind of eyes towards Saya player. Does he get a moment to even have influence towards this round? It looks like a bit of a deeper hold coming out from EDG. Slower exploration towards Garage and proactive approach over towards A long from T1. So if anything, kind of funneling EDG in towards that C site.
So yeah, to try and play in Saya as the op anchor here on C site. We get some sound cues. Very deep clearance here with the drone.
But if T1 overpush this, they'll just spin back in towards A. And well, they've pretty much taken them all down. Trades are there. It's a 3-1. Saya player, what do you have? 50 seconds to play with, 3 to collect on. They are taking that A site.
As I say, Chichu with some space to work with, and we get the benefit of the timing as well. And these are the heartbreaking kills.
This is soul destroying if he doesn't turn. He has had a second thought of it. Finds Chichu and it's game on.
Hey,
a 1v2.
Time to play with here as well.
Spike only going down now. Gonna pop the blades as well. Nobody on site. One tuck towards Graffiti. That's gonna be how long as he checks. Side blades tries to go in. Seems a little short-sighted, a little frustrated, and EDG unfazed.
Burning up the Bladestorm and giving away The operator will be able to repurchase, yes, but
Careful.
I think you're right, a little bit frustrated there with the approach. Maybe also thinking, you know, the fast coming through, there's a deep lurk from Chichu. Maybe they've just sent somebody to plant on the opposite side of the map, catch them off guard, but EDG, everything except the neural theft at their disposal now. And firmly in control of Haven once again.
This has to be a swing round for T1. Good purchase, couple of nice ults, operator out. What does EDG do with this as well, right? They've got their own ults to play with. They've obviously got a fair crack of money too. And Chichu's presence through Garage has been problematic to say the least. A nuisance by all variety, but we do see that Killjoy setup there. So Tara's going to be in position. Munchkin going the long way around.
Good damage taken from Kang actually.
He's hunting though. He's feeling aggressive, feeling deadly. Looking also to kind of fall towards the side. Ban going to note the player towards the back of the side, but look at the pressure on this man. So many things to be worried about. Munchkin trying to at least help him out somehow. Chichu does go down, but it's just going to be chaotic on the site now. Nobody looking around, takes a little bit of a glance, can't quite find Ban. Gets a little closer, but the crossfires are coming in, just keeping him at bay. Zeta connects. Kang in the back line, still lingering around by Garage. Finally decides to take a little look towards the site because they're holding onto this Ban. Oh, a messy fight towards Long was never going to be enough here. And the last two players make it one. Need a whole lot. This could be a big round for T1. Can they keep three alive? Double swing? Yes, they can.
They're second on the board. This time around, T1 mitigating a lot of that risk. They play deeper and deeper, but concern being now if EDG lean heavily into that, the T1 are happy to concede space. First time really they followed through off of Munchkin's utility as well. Actually, Rolling Thunder didn't catch Ban. I thought it did. Saw him catch a kill on the kill feed off screen, but a lapse of concentration there from Smoggy.
Right here.
Big switch up from Munchkin here, actually. It's the alarm bot down towards sewers.
I mean, EDG's A-takes have been pretty solid. Wouldn't be surprised if they lean back into it.
I mean, with the lockdown available.
Yeah.
They rotate him across here, but does still have Carpe alongside him. Maybe looking for a contact play off the turret or the alarm bot with the Rolling Thunder. There's only two of them here.
The gap between is quite substantial too. Side player going to be sitting towards B. See if he finds anything. He's not. And swing.
Killed by the dart.
Yeah,
Completely wasted.
No value off it. Time, I guess, is the only thing that they get, but that's a very slim reward.
But very quickly now, you can see the call is made to drift back towards a retake. Information gathered off the TP from Ban.
Right there.
They don't want to over-rotate. They've been conditioned to be paranoid about those flanks. You can see it now. Hunter's Fury going to be posted to try and clear through. Nobody. Not going to find what he wants here. Nice denial, though. 28 seconds, finding it hard to filter towards that A site. There's still players to clear through, and Munchkin was one of them, and he's fallen. So maybe it's game on. Sire player finds the shot he needs, backs away, doesn't lose life. Trade comes in. It's on the form of Carpe falling. 3v4 now. And suddenly EDG taking the fight to them. 13 seconds. Zeta and Ban, how much can you do to deny this? Paranoia sent, but they can't deny the plant going down. No big chip damage to report. Out on Yes took damage earlier, but that's about it. Ban trying to filter his way forward as already his teammate falls. It's not worth the value on this. They're just finding nothing.
I thought T1 were very quickly resorting back to a retake here, but Munchkin stays on site. Very peculiar. As him to take first contact here. Look at the space. Where's the second swing there?
Even EDG were looking for it. They were waiting for it.
Because before this, the fault line sent down long. It slows them down, yes, but then Munchkin has nothing to help him out. All of his util's gone. Carpe's burnt up his util. And there were bodies in place there to swing at the same time.
And the only man who can make the difference would be Sire player here. Rifle, the only investment, everyone else on sheriff's odds and ends. And obviously full, very healthy purchase for EDG. Kang taking the space over towards Long as well. Clearing out by the box, but already see the positioning double stacked up towards Sewer. EDG not in a particular hurry. They have everything they need to work late into these rounds.
T1 are so scared of Chichu's position and where his utility is that there's just no proactivity on this defensive half. I mean, they're very rarely even challenging for A lobby. Munchkin.
Nice.
He does benefit there from the cage dropping.
Okay, but can they hold against this? Not with that amount of information. Look at it. Oh, it's devastating. The control comes out as Carpe falls, leaving side players still maybe an unknown quantity, but they seem all too aware of it. Nobody the first to try and find that information, and he wins the fight. EDG have the side to their own. The last two players feeling irrelevant to the outcome as Kang is holding them back. You want a chance to the side, you got to get past this man. And he ain't letting you through. Nothing going to be happening. EDG fully in control here. This team wants playoffs, and they're not far from it now.
Big gap. 5 rounds separating them here on Haven. It's another example. I talked about this in map 1. How quickly EDG react. They concede this first blood. Immediately, the switch is flipped.
Still a bye for T1. Still they are running on fumes here.
Well, first time, I was mentioning it last round, first time we've actually seen T1 challenge towards A lobby. A little deeper here on a buy round. Sire posted up, rifle in hand, Carpe to support. This time around, EDG not positioned here though. Well, as nobody comes back.
Uh-oh.
Might even just clear this with the drone. Yeah.
Heard the steps. And now what do you do with this one? Carpe save him? Okay. Yeah, maybe you can. Draws out the Hunter's Fury as well.
I guess nothing for it.
Oh, no! That's just going to be devastating. Oh, come on! Gokung is just too good at this game. Ban's dead in the blink of an eye. The other 3 a million miles away. You can already see it. Chichu's already up into garage. This is
It's
brutal.
the fear, it's the paranoia again though. Off the owl drone, they're desperate to try and find I don't want to say a cheesy kill, but a freebie off the Hunter's Fury to potentially play Sire in. And just like that, the blink of an eye, EDG find 2 kills elsewhere. It's so rough for T1.
Oh, he's just walking through them. He is walking through them. They look scared. T1 look terrified. And I don't really blame him when you got the beast up against you. This guy is absolutely unreal. But again, it hasn't just been that solo show from him. We've had a great performance from Chichu here as well. Those lurks have put the fear of God in T1. They look absolutely mentally boomed in this right now. EDG drastically outclassing T1. They're going to need every single round remaining, and there's not many to go spare.
Fadeaway shots like that.
Grounded.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, what do you do against a team that's this volatile? Like I said, so quick to react. You even hear the slightest hint of a stack towards A. The pendulum swing towards C, executed perfectly by EDG. Adjustment here, they're going to put Sire play in towards Garage. Now Munchkin tasked with holding down, anchoring that A site. Lockdown available. The thing is, with no exploration from T1 this half, there's not really anything that indicates what their default looks like. I mean, they've barely even pushed out and dealt with the spy cam in a single round that I can think of. Chichu has all the information across the map. And EDG just running rampant with it.
Look how close they are. He's so far ahead of even that dart that just came in. Yeah, not going to be hindered by utility. He wants to fight towards the backside. This time, though, T1 actually going to fall away from this. Sit a little bit deeper towards CT. Depend on that lockdown.
Get out of my way. Planted.
Should give him a bit of room, but look who's hunting!
Oh my God!
Gokung's here! And he wants more! He's going to chase him around the map. He's still going. Does it land? It does.
The shotgun and the aftershock's going to deal with the lockdown.
And now you got problems galore. 4v4 and you got to make your moves now. You got to try and get towards the side. He is here, standing his ground. Does eventually fall down to Munchkin. It's back down to a 3v3, but the time's still ticking. The Paranoia finds nothing. Nobody on the reposition. It's just gorgeous work. On the drop down, it matters not. Nobody there to greet him with a smile. EDG running away with the game.
Mimi made this point on the desk as well. Every single one of these EDG players is good for a multi-kill here and there. A 3K or 4K, whenever it's needed. And like I said, there's freedom for EDG to set up here. The lockdown that is literally the cornerstone of T1's game plan in this round amounts to nothing. Kang is 18-6 on this half so far.
And he didn't have that blistering start like he did before, but you can see it every round there's value. He might have another one.
Oh, he knows what you are now,
terrified. They are terrified, and rightly so.
Here.
Yeah, run away. Run away while he still can. I wouldn't want to face him right now. Confidence sky high for the man. This is his map.
Here.
Does anyone want to try it? Okay. He's still going to carry on forward. Be it a Marshall, be it the operator, doesn't really matter. Maybe a shorty to add to injury. No, Munchkin this time stands tall. Who's got the multi-kills from EDG here, though? None of them. It's Munchkin, still alive and kicking as best he can. Leaving nobody in Howdong. The others to try and handle this. Munchkin getting that defused. Oh, Howdong's there! And now down to a 1v1. Nobody breaks them in two. And EDG, large and in charge here. Playoffs just within touching distance now, Mike.
T1 just looked boomed after that map one. It's been hesitant, it's been scared. This entire half, they haven't wanted to challenge EDG. They've allowed them to set up and Kang to just continue pushing so deep and playing contact with an operator time and time again. Like I said, there's been so few rounds, I mean none actually, where Chichu's backline has been pressured. Constantly in control of information and the entire map, Lauren.
Yeah, 10-2. This could be a short one, a quick one. Let's find out what the desk thinks. It is all about EDG right now. Mimi, Kakuka, T1, they can't even get around.
It has been such an amazing half. So many late A executes where EDG is just thriving. In fact, the only 2 rounds that they lost, they just went to see. One of them was that insane play that we saw by Chichu, but the defuse went through. And another one was a plain execute. As long as they don't do that, I feel that also T1 was making it a little bit too hard for themselves to actually get back into this round.
Yeah, and EDG have not missed a beat since beating Na'Vi. Their players are in absolute peak form right now. Chichu is pulling up ridiculous things like this. He didn't quite win the round there, but it's still
in my heart
the plays that they're making.
Yeah, it's not just him as well. Similarly to when they went up against Na'Vi, it is very much, Mimi, a team effort.
Yeah, every single one of these players is stepping up, and for T1, it just looks like they are crumbling. At the beginning, they were trying to fight for a lobby control. They stopped doing that completely. They're playing so passive on this defensive side, and Edward Gaming was just owning the map.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the graphic here and we take a look at EDG, that defensive win rate is through the roof, and it's exactly what happened last time against T1. T1 only managed to get 1 single round, and the previous half was all about the retakes that were definitely not there today.
EDG is on the precipice of making history. They've been to 3 international events, and at their 3rd opportunity, they're about to make it out of groups if they can close out versus T1.
Yeah, and T1, they're going to need a miracle right now. 10-2 down. We have seen it before. The comeback, it's not impossible, but Pansy and Hypok, this pistol round is going to be absolutely monumental.
Absolutely, this is paramount to any hope for T1, but it feels almost fated, right? EDG just elevating to truly playoff potential from the first time they met to now, looking almost like a different team.
I think T1, you could say the same, looking like a very different team to last time they faced off. And like I said, this is where some concerns definitely were raised. T1's attack in half. That's not a good start. 25 HP off the rip here for Saya. Actually, I was going to say the re-clearance here if nobody will full swing onto that, but Still has the dart even here. Usually invested off the rip.
Yeah, not giving away too much, but a fair amount of pressure now noted. The push looks good. Sire player, highly valuable. Nice overrun from Carpe. Munchkin going to catch the cross too. T1 taking a damn good go at this. Much better from T1. But look who remains. If it was anyone else, I'd have wrapped up this sentence long ago. But we give him credit where it's due in this, and we give him this moment. What can he do with this? He knows Munchkin was middle. That's not the target of focus for now. Does he find that first blood working back in? Looks for a target. No one's showing. Checks Graffiti, finds it, dips. Whoa! It's all good. 3 alive. T1 back in the game.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yep.
Well,
easy.
They need to improve their previous performance versus EDG. Was 1 round last time, but the pistol definitely the crucial one with this scoreline. Is that enough to get them back online? A mountain to climb to get back into Haven here.
Round by round. But I still get terrified of seeing him just go and walk about, just taking a little bit of space, deciding what to do with it. We've got a 3-play stack over towards A as well. Pretty cheap. Again, this round they do only really walk in with that Sheriff that's in Kangkang's hands. Otherwise, that's going to be classic. So if T1 go through their due diligence, they should be fine. Clear as they go. You can see the caution being shown here, obviously being...
Respect being shown.
Yeah, just terrified. Mostly of him.
Looking to now regroup back towards C. Kangkang looked like he almost responded to an audio cue there.
Heard it, maybe. He's going to be watching through from Garage. He held back for now. How long does that smoke last? Okay, a little bit of info. Chuchu's got Sire player. They're not getting the access. Oh, God! Sailor's got one! Okay, he's got down. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. This is totally fine. 33 seconds is definitely a little dangerous. But it's dealt with. T1. All good. 3 alive, 3 rifles. No worries.
Yeah, luckily holding on to the crucial inventory. And one thing last time EDG was so good at is not just leaving Chichu to anchor a site, but just leaving his utility. Yeah. They were so happy to explore elsewhere, get a pick on the extremity, and then end up back on the site where Chichu's investment is.
I need a drop.
To get right for the, I was going to say, Carpe will pick up a Bulldog here. In T1 with some difficult decisions to make, obviously, in terms of the economy due to the scoreline. They're looking to continue to pressure here towards A lobby.
Still need to be careful on the way in. You can see them trying to go through all of those corners, clear everything in front of them.
Smoggy's still set up here for a stun. Kangkang almost with a sixth sense here. Reading a couple of players of T1 backed into the corners, but doesn't get any damage and forced back by the drone.
Yeah, nobody's Smoggy and Kangkang all here. They're leaving B, basically kept safe by a trap and a little bit of a passive hold by Haodong. T1 walking into quite the stack of players here. Sire player better be good for it, and he goes. First man found, clears out one. Looks for the follow-up, not going to happen. Hold by nobody. Smoggy with the swing. Takes down Sire player, but there's still Smoggy on the side, but overwhelmed. T1 doing nicely here. A 2v3 is not impossible, though. Paranoia gets sent now. They can't really get ahead of that smoke, so Carpe playing by Graffiti is in a pretty powerful position here until...
Wait, Zeta?
Huh?
The smoke dropped.
Seemingly completely unaware. Ban saving the day there, Mike. That felt like they were about to fumble it.
I'm not sure if Zeta thought he had a couple more seconds on that, but the smoke falls and he's punished as he's trying to tuck back into that short cubby. And so T1 convert the third. Is a comeback on the cards. Actually, sorry, I think even spotting there on the dash. Very diligent on the entry. Ban luckily gets that instant headshot on the double swing. Shuts any hope down.
They go for an instant timeout from EDG. I mean,
Scary if they want to switch something up now.
we did talk about them kind of looking to bring in like a different style almost, right? We saw on map 1 it being a little bit more patient, a little bit more refined, not as, you know, high tempo, high explosive, still as volatile as ever, sure, but a little bit of a different look. Now I wonder what EDG do on this. They have options. Obviously, though, they've kind of had a couple of investments here and there as well. Losing out on that bonus is rough too. That's going to put them in a little bit of a predicament. That can close up the scoreline a little bit. And they don't have any ults to lean on. No massive amounts of progress, obviously, of everyone in tow. So, I wonder what EDG do with this. Maybe just going to make sure they don't allow this team to open up that window of chance for T1.
So last time, obviously heavily reliant on Kankan getting on that operator nice and early. And that was when T1 barely got a look in.
Yes.
Again, started running away with the early rounds. The utility misinvestment from T1 time and time again, conceded a lot of map control. You see it, it's free on the bounce. How far can they take this now? Anticipating a little bit of aggression coming out of that timeout. 3 stingers and a sheriff, so no. I was going to say, no freedom here for T1. They've got to play this carefully.
I guess they can afford a couple of these rounds, but interesting to see how long they live with this. Again, probably a good choice from T1 to just go for the C take, feels safe.
Well,
EDG
again,
safe.
ahead of it.
Yep. Lost a bit of that timing on it now. They could readdress this. They could re-pressure. Side player going to take towards the side, but EDG have all 5 players here waiting. Let's see how this pressure looks though. Munchkin going to deal with the first. Chichu goes down. Gung gets towards the side, spots out the players, but again, still working with stingers. It ain't going to be enough. Carpe overwhelms, but Smoggy to do the damage, leaving it a 3v2. Only down to Smoggy and T1 weathering the storm here.
Well handled. Yeah, I was saying, a little bit of a misplacement here on some of the utility on the way back in, but only stingers, only sheriffs. EDG probably just looking to chip away a little bit, take away, or force a couple of repurchases here with a stinger of rounds now in favor of T1. And a big advantage in terms of the old cycle, in terms of what's available off the rip here. Rolling Thunder, Blade Storm, 2 off the lockdown.
Kung's got the operator though.
Yeah, that's...
and he's going sewer. Does he? How far does he take that, do you reckon? I mean,
last time T1 were incapable of shutting this down.
Yes.
And they conceded a number of first deaths on the back of it. Reading into it potentially, though. It's actually, yeah, the alarm bot's posted up here to prevent a flank coming through.
It's a test of Howdong then instead. Side player going to lead the way. The paranoia was good. I don't think they noticed that it actually connected very, very well. Plays in Howdong just perfectly. Side player, a little bit of a fumble there. Smokey going to make the most of that as well. Gets the trade. Oh, Kung as well. Connects on towards Zeta, leaving Munchkin in a rough situation. Made worse with that operator rattling through his chest as EDG up to 11. The corner checked or not made so much of a difference in that one round.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking that Howdong's actually not spotted here because the paranoia is perfect.
Right.
But you can see what Saya has to do. There's so much for him to clear.
One enemy remaining.
T1, I think, make the right decision here. They continue pushing.
This guy's a superstar in the making, isn't he? 22-11. He's putting on a show. Theatric shot in and out of the server. And I think he's getting a little confident, a little cocky. Getting that first hit in that second half. And they're getting aggressive down towards long. It looked like T1 were prepared for this before. This time around, are they ready for what's on the way? Oh God, the headhunter himself, he's here. He's gonna keep going on this one too. Gets a little closer. Just around that corner.
Should run.
3 players. Was baited in, toyed in, teased in. He still gets the kill. How long is there with a ban? Tries to do everything he can. Still does the damage. Chichu comes back around. And EDG all too prepared for this. Munchkin once again left here alone. Desolate. So few options. Oh, adding insult to injury, isn't it? What are you meant to do? Got 3 to clear. Stunned up. 38 seconds. Even the turret's not on his side at this point. Can he isolate one of these? First? Yes.
30 seconds.
Trying to look for that swing. Chichu held off. The second!
Okay.
Munchkin, you knew where he was. And he waits. He waits. Oh, no! Heartbreak! As Chichu timed it so well. And the moment Munchkin moved away, EDG make it to 12.
I mean, that's the best way to sum up some of the rounds in this series. What a beautiful collapse, though, from EDG. And Chichu's so deep on C-Long. Beautifully coordinated. Another example of just total freedom across the map. 3 members of T1 stacked up, backs against the wall in spawn. Heartbreaking.
This one's gonna sting for T1. 6 to 12, yes, there's still chance. There's still, you know, moments where you see the confidence. Mike, you see it every time that cam's on these players. They're starting to become showmen. They're starting to, you know, get the fans going, get the people going, get in the faces, get into the heads of T1 as if they needed that. T1 looked shattered from that first map. Left in pieces throughout this game. EDG mean in the way they're playing. T1 need a miracle now. Well, they need something more than that. Blade Storm there for Kang as well. 5 behind it for everyone else. And it's a scrappy purchase for T1. And it looks like an all-out brawl here.
I'm not sure if T1 even just pop off the spawn barrier here. Looks like it might be a stun set up.
He wants to fight it though. He wants to fight it! Takes side player down to barely anything. Left alive on 15. There's a message to the others, do not come to this site, and they dare go forward. He waits. Tucked in the corner though, dealt with by that. Oh! Dives a little further ahead, Data's still standing. Smoggy's there though, they walk through the smoke to their slaughter. Paranoia sent EDG massacring T1. Until then, it's Chichu trying to do something to deny it. No! Held on! Confirms it! T1 slaughtered by EDG.
A terrifying performance here from EDG. Thriving on that previous success. And everyone stepping up here. Kang, the headline, sure, but this is a scary roster.
Yes, it is.
Right in that wave, Lauren, honestly.
Every team in the playoffs will want to avoid them. There's something about them. There's some magic in that team. And I don't know how you deal with it. T1 didn't. They made a damn good go. They faced them down in the first time they met. They succeeded. They took a great game to NRG. In the rematch, it was a different place altogether, a different team altogether. This EDG side, something about it, terrifying to the core, the capability of some of these players. And as you said, yes, one man may be the front man, but everyone is capable. We saw it here, Chichu, fantastic, nobody, incredible. Howdon, Smoggy, heroics from these players, every single one having their rounds. And obviously, the man of the hour, Kang is just built a little different. Certainly a superstar in the making.
I mean, a very short list of players that, I guess even at this event, that could stand up individually to the performance that Kang is demonstrating so far here in Tokyo. Like I said, if this is the byproduct of a little bit, an injection of some confidence here on the stage, how far does it go for them?
I think that's the question we all want to find out down the line. What does it look when they get to playoffs? There's big teams there. There are big teams who dealt with the CNEDs of the world, the Artists of the world, the Durkas, name your heavy hitters. Those teams have handled them. How will they deal with a newcomer? Some fresh blood coming in to look that terrifying throughout this series. That is something we'll find out once we get to those playoffs, and I'm sure everyone waits with bated breath. But what a moment for EDG, bigger picture. A couple of international debuts, a couple of looks towards it, but nothing like this. Nothing like this form has been seen before from this side.
No. It's tough for T1, but I got to say it, when there's just an off day, a little bit complacent in some situations, but a total lack of awareness of what EDG we're going to execute here. I think very polarizing performance here. So many times we saw them scared, hesitant, I mean, lost for answers, to be honest with you. And EDG literally thrived in that situation. A couple of different looks from them today as well. Happy to slow things down. Looking as if, you know, aware of other macro elements that maybe would be the question marks for this roster.
And that's been a bigger conversation globally when it came to, especially, you know, Chinese teams coming into the international scene, is
the depth.
They never had the pace changes. They could never play that slow style. It was always the conversation of, yeah, 1, 2, 3 individuals could always maybe keep up, but then when it came down to the nitty-gritty, that especially like EMEA style, notoriously or historically, they never kept up. This could be the team to do it, Mike. This could be the team to make the run.
Sure, yeah, which is why I'm excited to watch them again, and again, a deeper pool of teams, for example.
This is what we look out for. This is the playoffs team that we can't wait to see how far they can go. Another Cinderella is going to the board.
Our secret sanctuary. We left all of our fears back there, past the flowing fields of lost and scattered memories, forgotten streams of hopes and fears. And I said, don't you worry, child, don't you worry, child, things will be alright, alright, alright. Don't you worry, child, don't you worry, child, the future's looking so bright, so bright, so
What a match that was. EDG, they finally did it. They made their first ever playoffs here at Masters. I am your host, Yingsu, and I'm back here with Kakuka and Mimi. Honestly, maybe I was trolling a little bit on day one of this tournament, saying I think EDG are 100% making it. Josh and Brent made fun of me a lot, but Mimi, who's laughing now?
I don't know. I feel like no one can be laughing because it's just like, it's the perfect story for them. We've seen them now come to 3 international events, and they've always been the best team in China. They've always been dominant at home, and we've been waiting to see them show up to the international stage and bring that same form. And finally, they've found their opportunity, and they have taken it in such dominant fashion.
And this speaks volumes of them, because it's not only that they got the win against Navi, now they proved that they actually deserve that spot. This was not, you know, down to those 1v1s, a little bit of clutches here and then. No, this was a dominant performance. We were talking about doing the homework. We were talking about the rematch and actually playing the same maps almost that they played last time, and actually wanted to show everybody that they can improve, that they can be better.
And what makes this team so good isn't just those individuals who can pop up and clutch these impossible rounds out of nowhere and just how cool they look on stage all the time. It's the fact that they can find a new pace. They're not just that Chinese team running it down and relying on individuals with fast executes. They can slow things down. They're good at re-clearing, making decisions in the mid-round. Every event they've come to, they've improved strategically, and I think it's all coming to a head here. It feels like we're at the beginning of another Zeta-style miracle run.
I mean, I don't know who I need to speak to, but make that Kong Kong thing a spray in the game. Make that thing a spray. That was incredible. Cool. That's up there for me with like the King Leviathan moment we had at Lockheed. That's just iconic.
I think that it definitely could happen. I think that he deserves it, and I think that more so, he's going to do it in playoffs as well.
This is the thing, right? They've managed to secure playoffs in a dominant fashion. Kong Kong, of course, in the center of that. Let's take a look at his stats, because he is up there. He is up there with basically everything, Mimi.
#1 of ACS.
And this is from the entire group stage. This is out of so many stars. You have NRG qualifying out of 1. You have EG qualifying as well. You have so many great teams making it to the next level. DRX as well. These squads who have always impressed internationally. And he's up at the top of them all. We are really starting to see a new superstar coming to life.
Yeah, and it's so surprising to see that it's not only him. I think that especially on this map, the way that we saw Chichu, so many of them, Smokey during the first one, I think that everybody on that team has something to contribute, and they're going to be the star at some point. Of course, we're going to have our eyes on Kankan because of obvious reasons, but anybody can provide those moments.
Yeah, speaking of Chichu, he is standing by right now with Golden Boy for the Verizon post-match interview.
Hey guys, I'm here with Chichu as well as Iris. Congratulations on the win. First and foremost, you know, one thing that we have noticed throughout this entire time is that each and every time EDG takes the stage, you get better and better and better. What is the secret to EDG's success so far?
首先，恭喜你们拿下了本场比赛的胜利。感觉每一场比赛，每一次 EDG 在这个舞台上面呈现的内容，好像都感觉你们在一直进化一样。你觉得这背后的秘诀或者说秘密是什么呢？
我们的3个教练吧，然后帮助我们去复盘很多那种小的细节，然后帮助我们去提升我们的沟通，然后我们之前犯的那种比赛里面犯的错误，然后让我们调整，及时的调整，然后跟这3个教练。 每天跟我们复盘很重要吧。
Shout out to our coaching team, 3 of them. They really had a very thorough review of our matches. They will tell our details, some communication issues within our games. Also, they will have very rapid improvements of us. So I would definitely shout out to our coaching team. They really helped us improve a lot as a team.
Well, I guess that follows into my next question, which is, after the win against Navi yesterday, I can understand that it's such an emotional win. How did you guys keep yourself from not getting too ahead of yourself, so that this way you can be ready for the matchup against T1?
其实这也是刚好他要问到的第2个问题，因为昨天你们在战胜了 Navi 之后，感觉当时的那个时刻是非常的情绪复杂的，非常的兴奋。那你们是怎么做到在那场比赛的胜利之后，没有让自己过于的上头，没有过于的沉浸在这种胜利的喜悦当中，而且非常好的准备了今天这场比赛呢？
因为我们知道我们的目标不仅仅只是赢一场，我们的目标是要更不止8强，我们还要拿下更多的胜利。
because we are very, very clear that we are not here to only take one victory. We are here to pick up more victories, more wins, and go further at this Masters.
Well, you know what? I think you answered my next question, which was how far can this team go? But I think you are very confident in that answer. So I guess the final question I'll ask you then is, well, you're going to the playoffs. Who do you want to play?
你要进入到下一轮了，现在的话，最想要遇到哪一位选手呢？
Liquid Lats.
He wants Liquid Nats. That's right. He wants Team Liquid. Chichu, congratulations, my friend. You deserve it. Iris, as always, appreciate you. We'll send it back over to the desk to take us home. But wow, what a match that was.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. I love how he said Liquid Nats specifically. But the interesting thing is, all of them on this team, they all have their own little kind of heroes they want to play against. As you know, Kangkang's been the biggest #1 Durka fan forever. In fact, in China, his in-game name, his ID is Fnatic Durka. So I want...
in rank.
Yes.
So there's just a rank demon out there named that's amazing.
And that is Kangkang.
Yeah. Someone might have been thinking that it's Durka that has been, traveling maybe there for some reason. Like, oh my God, I'm playing with Durka, because honestly, he might put the same performance. So you might be like, maybe it's actually him.
Some Chinese Valorant rank demon is just hearing you say it and like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
It's actually Kangkang. But I think they all individually have those matchups they're gunning for. But unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to T1. It's never easy to say goodbye to these teams in the tournament, but Kukuka, definitely one of the most improved teams from the start of this year. They showed a lot of what they can do, and I think everyone else, the champions, should not be underestimated.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they... besides the improvement, I think that they've gotten enough here to actually VOD review and look through. We heard Chichu giving that highlight to the coaching staff. Maybe that is what T1 needs to do now, looking ahead, looking into champs.
And I think they've already taken steps in the right direction when you compare to Lock-in. They switched Zeta over to the IGL role. They look so much better in the mid-round at slowing down their style, having different looks. And I think you can also credit the coaching staff for that. The players individually look insane. Saya looked great. On top of that, I think Carpe, also one of the most improved players here. So they really are ready to take that next step. And with this downtime ahead of Champions, I think they're going to come back quite strong.
But also this Korea versus China narrative, I'm for it. I want to see a rematch of something like this, maybe even at Champions.
Maybe TRX.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's time to have a look at our HyperX reflex moment of the day. If you guys cast your mind back to the first match, this little flick, Kukuka, from Cracks.
I'm not surprised. Maybe we have to show the rest of the world what he can do. But of course, it was just one bullet. He just shoots one to see if, maybe there's something in here.
What is his sensitivity? He just swings around instantly on that one and gets a beautiful kill there for FUT.
Yeah, again, one of the teams that we had to send home. But again, at Champions, Mimi, I feel like all eyes are going to be for them to be able to make a redemption arc. Before we move to the bracket and the standings, let's take a look at an update as group stage has been concluded at the shorty kill count. We are currently standing at 24. I'm so sad that something is not going to be joining us in the playoff stage, because Mimi, I think it would be double that, just himself, if he was here.
Yeah, I mean, he has a ridiculous number of those, but it's good to see so many already a good number for those folks who are participating and donating based off the shorty kills.
Yeah, exactly. We saw a couple, we saw the first knife kill, if I'm not mistaken, today. I would have liked that to be a shorty kill, but hey, we have the entirety of playoffs. We know that Fnatic, we know that Durka has been running it as well a lot, so looking forward to that one.
Well, with that, the Masters Tokyo group stage has come to a close. Let's take a look at the bracket here. Whoa!
HyperX DRX!
Fnatic Energy! We got it! We got it!
We're going to see Fnatic Energy.
Oh my God, we got it!
I want to go against Nats. He also get it. Guys,
I just want to preface that Mimi, and Kukuka were not informed about this, and Mimi...
This is our honest reaction.
Okay,
what are your thoughts?
The one I got straight away. Pacific Final Rematch. Yeah, it's going to be insane for that to be the opening match. First time for Fnatic Energy. TL EDG, some history there as well. And then Loud EG, an America's rematch there. I mean, EG was a team that has already taken a map off Loud in the past. This is going to be a good playoff.
I just want to thank the bracket gods that Liquid and Fnatic could be meeting Kukuka in the grand finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This could be definitely very, very exciting. I think that this is like a saving grace for EMEA because despite our two teams that we had in groups didn't make it through, at least we're not getting a rematch from our own regions and we're, testing something different because, as you said, of course ED has gone against Loud and HyperX DRX was the final on that day, and I think we're being treated, with the NRG and EDG.
I feel like I need more time to
process
what's
You got a lot more time. You got another day before playoffs.
We do have a whole day, but
take a break
real quick, most exciting matchup for you? Just one.
I think it's got to be Fnatic versus
NRG.
NRG. It just
You
has to be,
1,000%,
right?
1,000%.
Yeah. First time they've ever played against each other. I cannot wait to see it. I think we need a day off after seeing the bracket and to process everything. But when we return, it's time for the knockout stage double elimination, which also means it's the first time we're going to be seeing Fnatic, Loud, Team Liquid, and HyperX in this tournament. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here are your Prime Gaming post-match highlights, post-day highlights even, and we'll see you soon.
I can't wait for the playoffs.
It's uncomfortable situation for DRX to be in, and for FUT, well, the grass is just going to continue to get greener on their side of the field as they have already punched their ticket to Champions. They are just playing with that house money. It's DRX, it's FUT. This is going to be good.
They've gotten it to half, now the reset, and now the fight. Kiwi on the snap, Kiwi on the shots. And they asked for it. Where was it coming? It's coming courtesy of Kiwi 1. Killer instinct activated.
Running the TP.
Yeah, that's not what the intent was. RB with 2. Spam expecting to pre-fire. Buzz finds the timing on Mr. Fall, and it's all Maj by himself. Maj is healthy! FUT walk away with the win, 13-9. Only taking one with him. Mako on the swing. Buzz finding value with it.
Oh gosh.
Zest is still here. He's playing far off. All he has is a classic though, and the classic works! Buzz with 3, and we're tied at 5.
He's going for the knife.
We got a knife? What kind of skin is there on the knife?
The stun, too, to try to catch him.
What's the skin on the knife? Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Sax is only one far off, though. Buzz has already gotten 2. Make that 3.
We're going to map 3. Wouldn't have it any other way for DRX.
He doesn't spot him at all. RB with 2. Robbed of the 3rd, courtesy of Mako. Finally landing it, switching weapons and getting them all. And the defenses of DRX are crumbling. You see him trying to funnel out of the site, trying to flood their way through. But Zest with 2, and Mako does it as well. DRX obliterate FUT and punch their ticket to playoffs.
This is it, a do-or-die fight for the final spot at playoffs here at Masters Tokyo, and it comes down to T1 and EDG. No matter what happens, it will be a historical moment.
Diffuse is already towards halfway. Nothing to deny it now. Beautiful, excellent round from Zeta. But Zeta going to take those first couple of steps. He wants to go quick, try and get ahead of the lockdown, and he can't. Chichu greets him with a smile, but it's Chichu on the counter swing to be just perfectly positioned. This is going to be a horrible way out. Smoggy turns the flash just perfectly. Stunning. EDG storm through map 1. T1 shattered. And look at this guy. He's so hungry. He's so out for blood. Does he know Tire Player? Yeah, he does. Absolutely. There's the classic.
God, man.
This guy's an animal. Nobody on the reposition. It's just gorgeous work. Oh, the drop down, it matters not. Nobody. It's a trade. Oh, Kung as well. Connects on towards Zeta, leaving Munchkin in a rough situation. EDG running away with the game. T1 slaughtered by EDG.
A terrifying performance here from EDG. This is a scary roster.